Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to another video. This is going to be me going through the new patch. Obviously we've had our new DLC that's coming out. I think you can pre-order it now and start playing, or it comes out officially tomorrow or in a couple of days, something like that. But it's going to be the Lords of the West patch here, and it's going to be game update 44725. Let's go ahead and hop into it and see what kind of changes we have here for us. So obviously two new civs, Burgundians and Sicilians. We made plenty of content for that both on YouTube and Twitch. We've been talking about it for a while now. They're finally out, which is pretty cool. So new civilizations. If you haven't seen my video on the Burgundian unique unit, it's just a 2-minute video. Highly recommend you check it out. I just posted it, and I'm going to be doing this little patch video now as well. So let's just skip all this stuff. And okay, so new civilization. So the Burgundians, here's the architecture. It kind of reminds me of a bit of Franks with their own wonder. So overview. The Burgundians are a new cavalry civilization specializing in economic developments. Take advantage of their ability to perform economic upgrades one age earlier than other civilizations, cheaper to stable technologies, and more powerful gunpowder units to dominate your opponents on the battlefield. Click below to see the different tools the Burgundians bring to the battlefield. So, civ bonuses. Their economic upgrades are available one age earlier than other civs, so that's like double bid axe and horse collar in Dark Age, bow saw and feudal age. Could be pretty good. I don't know how good exactly it is. Like, can you afford bow saw and handcart in feudal age? I don't know if that's going to be good. Stable technologies are 50% cheaper. So Cavalier, Paladin, Husbandry, they are lacking bloodlines. We'll take a look at that later. Gunpowder units gain a plus 25% bonus to their attack. So I'm not sure if this kind of works for everything or versus only the things that have an attack bonus against. I think this is for everything. So gunpowder units do more damage, which is pretty cool. Good for bomber cannon and hand cannon, I guess. And then Cavalier upgrade is available in the Castle Age, so that's pretty interesting. They are lacking bloodlines, so this doesn't sound, it's not as OP as it sounds, but I still think it would be pretty good, especially since it's 50% cheaper. So it's going to cost 150 gold, 150 food. Seems pretty good to me, in my opinion. Alright, let's continue going here. Team bonus. Relics generate both food and gold. That seems okay, like it seems pretty good actually. Could be a really good boost to picking up relics in the early game especially. Food is not going to help you too much late game, but early game it could be really good. But definitely solid, especially if it's a team bonus. Could be good, for any member of your team. Unique units: Custodier, which is actually quite busted. Burgundian cavalry unit that utilizes a powerful shock attack when charging into battle. Strong versus infantry and archers, weak versus camel riders and monks. This thing does. It's even strong versus camel riders, and it should be strong versus monks as well, because you can easily just one-shot a monk with the charge attack. So I don't know about that. Age of Empire game. Gamers like this I don't know if this is what they're weak against, honestly. I think this unit is pretty damn strong, and I would say its biggest weakness is probably the balance team. We'll see what happens with it. It seems really strong right now. We'll have to do more testing though. Flemish Militia, Burgundian unique infantry units, strong versus cavalry, weak versus archers. We'll see how this one plays out. Yeah, I'm not sure what this, too much about this. I haven't tested it out. Unique technologies: Burgundian vineyards converts all food into gold at a 2-to-1 ratio. Pretty good for late game, especially if you're banking like 10k food and you want to just quickly grab this, switch it to 5k gold. Probably situational. You're not going to use this every game, but when you do use it, it's going to be pretty good. And farmers slowly generate gold in addition to food. Apparently, it's very slow. Like 40 farmers generate gold, like 1 relic, for example. So it's not too much to worry about, but it's a nice bonus. Flemish Revolution upgrades all existing villages into Flemish Militia and allows the training of Flemish Militia at town centers. Interesting. Again, not sure how good Flemish Militia is, but seems okay. And then this is their full technology tree. So let's take a look at this. Can I zoom out and I can, yeah, go to the side. Cool. So economic upgrades. So we went through all this. So they get no thumb ring. I noticed that right off the bat, and terrible archery range here, except the hand cannons, which would be pretty good. Barracks is full, except supplies is missing. So. Infantry is kind of just like, halberdier is going to be their main go. Stable is pretty packed. They are lacking bloodlines, but they get 50% cheaper technology, so they're going to be able to get Paladin quite nice. Cavalier, you can get it in Castle Age as well, so you can get a really early Paladin here. I think this is pretty cool. Pretty cool stable. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. No bloodlines means their Hussars are going to be kind of bad late game, though. And their Paladins won't be the best late game as well, but could be really good with the power spike. Siege is average. You get bomber cannon with extra damage, though. Blacksmith, yeah, good. Missing ring archer doesn't really matter. Dock is, whatever, pretty standard. You get the lead cannon galleon with extra damage, though. No siege engineers, which is interesting considering it would have been helpful for their bomber cannons, but okay. They do get Bombard Tower though, with I think extra damage as well. Actually, I don't know if it counts for as a unit. Custodier, man, this thing is broken. I can't see how much it costs now, unfortunately, but I think this unit is broken. Just stay tuned for the So You Want to Play Burgundians this weekend. We'll take a look at that civ. Monks, pretty average. Secretary, above average. Missing Heresy, getting everything else, pretty solid. And then economy tab is not too bad as well, so pretty cool. Hopefully my camera didn't block any of the text by the way there. Okay, so then the new civ is going to be the Sicilians. That's the second new civ here. Architecture reminds me a bit of like the Italians, with obviously its unique wonder. The Sicilians are an infantry civilization specializing in city building to fuel their relentless drive for expansion, building donjons, which is a new building, kind of like a tower. For additional fortifications around your town, employ the First Crusade technology to spawn batches of your unique sergeants units in all town centers, and utilize the scrutage technology to refill you and your team members' battle coffers with 15 gold for each military unit you own. Kind of like a one-time use like the other civ, so we have one-time use technologies. This doesn't seem that good actually. It seems like it could be broken in certain cases and terrible in other cases. So again, situational for scrutage, but would be really good when it does come up, I think. It's not as like generic as it could be, I guess. Civilization bonuses. So castles and town centers are constructed 100% faster. That's pretty good. 100% just means double, like twice as fast, which is pretty good. I mean, it's not a huge bonus, but it's pretty good for eco with town centers and lets you secure some forward castles quite nicely. Combine this with their really good. Oh no, they're not the one with the Custodier. Never mind. Sorry about that. I don't know how good their unique unit is though. But anyway, they have land and military units absorbing 50% of all incoming bonus damage. This would be pretty good for their scout rush against spears, for example. You take 50% less damage. That's pretty solid. Farm upgrades provide 100% additional food to farms before they need to be reseeded, so it's pretty good for economy as well. So they have an eco bonus, a structure bonus, and then a military bonus. Pretty good, pretty well balanced so far for me. Transport ships carry +5 capacity and +10 armor versus anti-ship bonus damage. That's their team bonus. Basically, a transport ship is a siege ram. Unique unit, the Sergeant is a hardy infantry unit which can also construct dungeons. So an infantry unit that can build, that's going to be awkward. Dungeon is a unique fortification used to trade in sergeants. Units can garrison in the building for protection. Archers and villagers shoot additional projectiles when garrisoned. Yeah, so it's considered a tower and doesn't count towards building requirements to age up. Interesting. I wonder if that's available in Feudal Age or Castle Age, actually. First Crusade, the unique tech in Castle Age. Upon researching, each town center up to 5 spawns a one-time group of 10 sergeants. And then Scrutage, upon researching, each team member receives a one-time payment of 15 gold for each military unit they own. We already went through that. Interesting. Both seem pretty situational, though. I'm not sure how strong the sergeants are. And the full tech tree, let's take a look here. So the Sicilians here, castles and town centers built 100% faster. We already took a look at everything here. Archery range, pretty interesting. They have Arbalest and Elite Skirm, terrible cav archer line, no thumb ring, so pretty bad archery range overall. Fully upgraded champion, yeah, fully upgraded barracks actually, which is pretty cool with supplies. Stables very lacking, except no, actually it's not bad. They're missing Hussar and Paladin, but they get Bloodlands and Husbandry, so overall it's pretty decent. But nothing. I don't think it's the main focus of the Civ. Siege is pretty okay as well. I mean, you're missing Bombard Cannon, but you have Siege Ram and Heavy Scorp and some Onager, which is not bad. Blacksmith again, just missing Ring Archer. Rest is perfectly fine. So yeah, you'll have some success with the Blacksmith. Pretty versatile. Pretty wide dock tech tree, but no bonuses for water really. University. Oh, they have nothing. Oh, they don't. Oh, they can't build towers, and they don't get fortified walls or architecture, but they get siege engineers. Interesting, but they get. Oh yeah, the donjon is a feudal age building. I can't see the stats, but you can make the sergeants in feudal age. I can. Yeah, this civ will be all about this strategy. It's going to be all about the donjon and the unique units. That's the main part of the civ, 100%. Because the rest of it's pretty generic. In fact, it seems a bit like lackluster. But the fact that you have now the donjon building, building the sergeants in feudal age, the castle building 100% faster, so you can do like a tower rush, follow up with a forward castle that builds twice as fast. That can be pretty damn deadly if the sergeants are also really strong as well, and they can also build dungeons as well. So you can tower rush with with your unique unit, not with villagers. That seems pretty good. Not sure how that's going to affect the 1v1 Arabian meta, but I'm going to be interested to try that out a lot on stream. And then economy is just about the same, so very nice there. The game fixing some stuff here. I'll let you guys pause if you're interested. I'm going to just quickly go right through the Stormy Dog there. Gameplay. So general, the Gaia team color no longer shares the same color as player 7, gray, but displays its own color, white. I think this is a bit weird. We'll have to see how the white looks like on the map. It might conflict with relics or units you're selecting, but we'll see about that. Some changes in Battle Royale, that's cool, and added a new hotkey, select all idle military units. That's very good. It's gonna make it so when you're like struggling in late game, especially in like, I don't know, like super late game where you have tons of units everywhere on, let's say, Arabia, you can just select everything and send them forward to battle or to defend. So it's really good. I think this will help the late game more than anything, but it helps you find a lot of your idle military units fast as well. Exploit fixes. Hovering the blueprint of buildings over unexploited terrain will no longer reveal if the underlying terrain is occupied by a building or unit. While the blueprint can still be placed, it will not be buildable if the area is obstructed. This fixes the Palisade Scan exploit that allowed players to identify occupied areas beneath the fog of war. Huge change. This is a huge change to competitive 1v1, to competitive, not 1v1, to competitive games in general for Age of Empires. Because now you actually have to go scout and see if there's anything, sneaky behind your base. This might lead to a lot more sneaks in games. This might lead to a lot more, I don't know, proxy buildings, just military buildings behind your opponent. A lot more messy games, I think, which is, I think, overall a good thing. But removing that, that gives you one less defense, I suppose you can say, against forward buildings. I'm not sure if this is good or bad. The fact that they fixed this might be a bit awkward as well. You don't know if a hill is occupied by castle until you literally go check. So it might lead to a bit of awkward things in the mid game. But it might just be a while to get used to. So I'm not sure if I like this yet or not. We'll have to see, but I'm a bit skeptical a little bit here. Fix an exploit where units can be trapped with the foundations of horizontally and vertically placed gates. Okay. Okay. Yeah, this is, I mean, whatever, you can pause here. Campaigns, we don't really mind. Okay, so balance changes, or just balance patch in general. So in general, on maps where each player begins with multiple town centers, additional villages or llamas granted the Chinese, Mayan, and Inca civilization will only spawn from a single town center as opposed to each of them. This is only good for maps like Budapest. It just balances out. I like it. It's a good change. Makes sense. Reduce the hit points of palisade walls and gates by 40% in Dark Age. Okay, this might actually change the walling early meta. However, this doesn't actually change the walling early into like a scout rush into like still fast feudal age that's kind of popular these days. Although that strategy takes a lot out of your rushing power, because you're investing a lot into walls, it's still pretty popular. Like you just wall early, go up to feudal age fast, and then just defend any aggression. But this is a huge nerf to Drush Fast Castle, or to Fast Castle in general. So if your opponent is fast castling and you have men at arms, you're almost always going to break through this amount of walls, this amount of HP. I wish they reduced the house HP on top of it, because now you can just wall with house, and houses are just as broken, and that's kind of like the main reason, or the main reason it's hard to get through players these days is because houses are so cheap and have so much HP in even Dark and Feudal Age. But we'll see. Any nerf to walling is good for me, so that's fine. And it doesn't affect Feudal Age onwards as well. Alright, Cavalry Archer, Standard and Heavy, reduce the attack animation from 1.3 to 1.15. This is going to make them a lot smoother to hit and run with, so maybe we're going to see always CA from now on, as the new rule instead of never CA. We'll see. I mean, this is a good change, I think, overall. It might make Cavalry Archers too broken, because there's going to be very little lag on a lot of games, and Cavalry Archers can be very exploitable if you have really good micros. At the top level, this could change how the meta is and how certain civs stack up. Like it might bring Huns back into the top 10 or top 5 Arabia civilizations. We'll see about that. And that's pretty good. We'll have to do testing for it. Fix an issue where Hydra shot upgrade would not affect secondary arrows fired from castles and towers. Interesting. Doesn't really matter. Much, at least. But it's nice to see it changed. And the following civilizations no longer have access to the treadmill crane. That's going to affect deathmatch more than anything, but interesting. Okay, Bulgarians, Conic dismounted, standard and elite no longer has more line of sight than the mounted Conic, so okay, cool, makes sense. Burmese, okay, this is a big change to the round by. So increase the damage dealt by missed shots, which still hit a secondary target. So kind of like straight, it doesn't hit the primary target, it hits someone else, so in a group of units. It reduces the damage from 50%, or sorry, increases the damage from 50% to 100%. That sounds like a buff, however, it reduced the attack damage of their unit from 17 and 19 to 12 and 15. So it's actually a nerf to the damage to the actual target. I'm not sure how this will play out in practice. I still think the Arambai is going to be insanely strong, and reduce the reload time to match elite Arambai from 2.2 to 2. So they can at least so the Arambai can hit and run a lot more consistent. I don't like this change. This change seems good though. Overall, they're going to be weaker against buildings, so they can't eat your town centers as fast. But I still think they're going to be really strong against mass cavalry units, which is what they're strong at. So I think this unit, I have to do testing with this change, but it sounds interesting on paper. All right, so the Franks, small nerf to the Franks here, reduced the work rate of foragers from 25% to 15%. Seems like a pretty good nerf. I suggested they should keep it at 20%, but the Franks win rate is quite high, so maybe 15% is very warranted. I don't know if this is the reason Franks win rate is high, but always like nerfing economy is a huge nerf in a lot of the cases. So this will hurt the Franks eco a little bit. Might see a drop in the civilization's win rate though. I'm very parched, by the way. That's why I'm kind of swallowing too much. I don't have water near me though. Should have prepared better. It's okay. Huns have a new unique technology, so atheism doesn't give you spies or treason or reduced cost, which is kind of useless, but also reduces the enemy gold income from relics by 50%. So instead of this, it gives you this, which could be really good for late game. Kind of, if your opponent has like 4 or 5 relics, you just get this upgrade, especially if it doesn't cost gold. It could be really good for late game, really situational for late game, but also pretty powerful. I can imagine this like helping your Aztec matchup if they have a lot of relics, for example. The Italians, they reduced the price reduction of dock technologies from 50% to 33%, and the civilization now also receives a 33% discount for all university technologies. So they nerfed them for they nerfed them for like water maps, but it's now better for overall. I think this is a good change, honestly. This is a good change overall for the Italians. Small buff to like, ballistics and chemistry will now be a bit cheaper. Siege engineers might be a bit cheaper for them. Pretty good. And Genoese crossbow getting a small gold cost nerf. Or gold cost buff, less gold cost is good. So not bad. Alright, Korean civilization now gets elite cannon technology, no problem. Mayans, big change here. Obsidian arrows is now replaced by a new technology, so no more obsidian arrows. I'm so happy about this because the tech is like, that's not how the game should be played. At top level, it's not overpowered, but it's obnoxious. And at casual level, or lower levels, or even like intermediate, at all levels this helps, because like at intermediate people can be like, okay, this might be overpowered, it might like be too snowbally, and at casual you might just not understand what's going on. Why is his archers destroying my buildings? What do I do against that? It's just not a good look for the game, in my opinion. Glad it's changed. And the new change is actually good. Holche Javelineers, skirmishers throw a second projectile when research. That seems pretty good. Buffs to late game. Skirmishers will now probably counter halbs quite effectively, and skirmishers will actually probably be pretty decent against other eagle warriors, by the way. So I can imagine skirms being, let's say, if you have 40 skirms or 30 skirms, you can one-shot an Aztec eagle warrior. Think about it like that. It might be pretty good against husk rolls now as well. So skirmishers might actually be pretty decent against these high pierce armor units because they shoot 2 projectiles, which does 1 damage each. So that's a pretty good change, and it will be obviously make them way stronger against archers as well. So pretty interesting there. Saracens, archers no longer gain bonus attack against standard buildings. Amazing. Again, nerfing that kind of archers killing buildings thing is great. Camel units are now granted plus 10 hit points, which is amazing in my opinion. It makes Saracen camels the best in the game, aside from Indians getting the extra pierce armor. But camel against camel, Saracens now have the best generic camels. And then the team bonus increased the bonus attack granted to foot archers versus buildings from 1 to 2, so kind of compensating for this being lost. But overall, this is a healthy change, I think. But actually, that might be good versus that might be good in feudal age to break with foot archers, actually. So keep an eye on that, maybe. I don't know what the math is though before and after this nerf. All right, technologies. Dealer reduced the cost from 750 food, so just to 500 food and 450 gold instead of this. And it now gives camels and mamluks plus 20 hit points. So combining this with this change, it just makes the late game stay the same, but this costs cheaper, and then you get the 10 hit points earlier. So Saracens are now more of a camel civ overall, and not just a late game camel civ. Tatar civilization, now you only get cheap starting in castle age, so Tatars are still probably really strong. Free thumbing, free parting tactics. Keshiks are still really good. Oh, but actually they get nerfed from 50 food to 60 food, so pretty good. I still think Keshik might need a bit more of a nerf, but that's not bad to start. I still think this unit hasn't been fully discovered yet. I think it's very strong. But also, Tatars overall, these 2 nerfs are much needed. So this should be okay to slow the civ down. Might still be really popular though, we'll see. and the rest is actually part of the random maps and the map balance. So not going to go too much into it. You can pause at any point to take a look, and I'll leave a link for the patch underneath the video as well, so you can take a look at that. Sorry, I was a little bit anxious at the end there. I'm really parched and I'm kind of uncomfortable in my seat now, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this patch overview. Definitely take a look at this new patch. Definitely get the DLC if you haven't already, and pick up those new civilizations because they seem pretty busted. I don't think it's going to be like a pay-to-win situation, but you know, new content for Age of Empires is always something that I get excited about. I just hope it's not too overpowered and it makes it obnoxious to play against it every time in the ladder, but it seems pretty good. So that's it for me. Take care and bye for now.